Have you ever made something so polished, so symmetrical, so perfect, and watched everyone walk past it for the rougher thing right next to it? You don't understand. You worked harder. You did everything right. This is a story about a young pastry chef named Hannah. Hannah was 28. She had spent 6 years climbing the ladder of New York City's pastry world. 3 internships, 2 unpaid stages, the kind everyone pretended were opportunities. 80-hour weeks at a Michelin-starred patisserie in the West Village called L'Éclat. 6 months ago, she had finally been promoted to sous chef. 2 weeks ago, she had been fired. Chef Laurent had told her why in his office in the long quiet before service. "Hannah, your plates leave the line looking like the cover of a magazine. They come back with 2 bites taken out of them. I promoted you to put your voice on this menu. 6 months in, the only thing I can taste in your work is how hard you tried not to be wrong." She'd cried in the walk-in for an hour. The next morning, she took a Concord Coach Lines bus from Port Authority north, 6 hours up the coast, to a town called Camden, Maine. Her grandmother, Rose, had run a small bakery on the main street there for 54 years. Hannah had grown up working summers in it as a teenager. For years, Rose had been ending her infrequent emails with the same line, "Come help me for a month." Hannah had never gone. This time she went. At 4:30 a.m. on Tuesday, Hannah pushed open the back door of her grandmother's bakery. The ovens were already warming. The air smelled like fermentation, sharp, earthy, slightly boozy. Rose was 76, white hair pinned with 2 bobby pins, an apron dusted with flour. She didn't hug Hannah. She didn't ask about New York. But there was a chipped mug of coffee on the bench, still steaming. Hannah's bus had been 6 hours. She walked over to a wooden shelf at the back of the kitchen and picked up an old ceramic crock, the color of butter. She handed it to Hannah with both hands, the way you'd hand someone a baby. The crock was heavy. Down one side ran a long crack, sealed with what looked like decades of dried-on flour paste. The lid was uneven. The whole thing looked like something you'd find at a yard sale for $2. Rose said only, "Feed her at 6. Don't drop her." Then she turned, walked to the deck oven, and started loading the morning's loaves. Hannah stood there holding the crock. After a moment, she lifted the lid. Inside, in the bottom of a vessel that had been broken for 53 years, a grayish cream culture was bubbling slowly. Alive, breathing. She set it down on the bench very gently and went to find a clean towel. Wednesday morning, Hannah baked her first batch alongside Rose. She didn't know what else to do, so she did what she'd been trained to do. Her loaves were perfect, even crowns, smooth, polished tops, a precise ratio of dark to gold. They looked like the cover of a magazine. Rose's loaves, on the cooling rack next to them, were lopsided. The tops had cracked open in different directions. Some had a strange flap of crust, what bakers call an ear, that had opened irregularly. Dark in some places, golden in others. A man came in at 7:30 a.m., Carhartt jacket, mid-50s, hands that said lobsterman. He looked at the bread. He picked up one of Hannah's loaves, pressed his thumb gently into the crust. It gave a little. He set it back down. He picked up one of Rose's, the ugliest one, deep crack down the middle, wild, irregular ear. He pressed his thumb into that crust too. It didn't give. It crackled. He held it up. "That one." Hannah blinked. "I just baked those this morning. They're still warm. You should try." The lobsterman smiled, not unkindly. "Sweetie, I take a loaf out on the water with me at 4:30 in the morning. Sits in my cooler all day with the thermos and a lot of ice. Yours'd be a sponge by lunch. This one," he turned Rose's loaf in his hand. "This one'll still have a crust I can break with my teeth at noon." He paid for Rose's loaf and a sleeve of oatmeal cookies and walked out. Hannah stood behind the counter. She looked at her own loaves. They were beautiful, untouched. Thursday night, after Rose had gone home, Hannah stayed in the bakery alone. She was going to do it Rose's way. She didn't measure, she didn't shape. She let the dough rest twice as long as she normally would. When it was time to score, she slashed the top with one fast, careless swipe of the razor, the way she imagined Rose would. Friday morning at 6 a.m., the loaf came out of the oven. It was a disaster. Overproofed, the structure had collapsed under the heat. The crumb was gummy. The crust looked tired, not bold. It wasn't a beautiful, imperfect bread. It was just a bad one. Rose came in at 6:30 with a thermos of black coffee. She looked at Hannah's loaf on the cooling rack. She didn't say anything. She picked it up. It was still warm, carried it out the back door, and set it on the windowsill of the loading dock for the gulls. She came back inside. She took the cracked crock down from the shelf and set it on the bench. Hannah watched her. Rose pulled out a small stainless cup. She weighed 20 grams of starter on a battered scale. She added flour, then water by feel. Her hands moved slowly. Each motion was small, exact, considered. She wasn't being careless. She was being very precise about a few specific things, and not at all about everything else. When she was done, she set the lid back on the crock and slid it back to its place on the shelf. She still hadn't said a word about the loaf in the gull's window. Hannah sat with that for a long time. Saturday at 5 a.m., Hannah came in alone. This time she didn't try to be Rose. She didn't try to be the sous chef from Leclerc either. She fed the starter at 5:15. She mixed one loaf. Bread flour, water, salt, 150 grams of starter from the cracked crock. She didn't weigh anything to 2 decimals, but she didn't eyeball it either. She paid attention to the temperature of the dough. She let it bulk ferment as long as it wanted, and not a minute longer. When the bench felt right, she shaped it. When it was time to score, she made one deep, confident slash and stepped back. She slid the loaf into the deck oven and didn't open the door for 45 minutes. When it came out, it was lopsided. The ear had opened wide on one side, jagged and alive. The crust was the color of chestnut and amber. It looked like a wave breaking on the Maine coast. A man came in at 8 a.m., linen pants, summer person. He looked at the row of bread. He looked at her loaf. He didn't ask the price. He just said, "That one." Hannah broke a piece off the heel before she wrapped it. The crust shattered with a sound like dry leaves. The steam hit her face. She didn't cry, but for the first time in a year, she ate bread and tasted it.